2, 1. Hello, everyone. It's Mxiety. This is the show about a little bit of everything, but mostly mental health. The idea is that everything and anything pertains and relates and adjusts and relates, I said relates already, to our mental health. And so we talk to advocates, we talk to mental health professionals with the idea of making these conversations open to all. So today we are talking to the incredible, wonderful, super kind Miabyte, who is a trans advocate and a Twitch partner and just like an overall amazing human being. You might know Mia from the panel that we did for Women's History Month. And if you don't know Mia, you're about to find out. So hi, Mia. Hello.
Hi, you're far too kind to me. You're far too kind. Hello, how are you doing today? Also, this camera is like so skewed right now. Sorry about that.
Fix it. No,
it's fixed. It's fixed.
I don't care.
I do though.
Okay.
I do though.
Okay, good. Well, okay, that makes one of us. Great. But yeah, no, today was a rougher day. How about you?
It was a good, actually, like a pretty okay day.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I didn't even have much anxiety over like guesting and stuff until like right before it started,
okay.
which is crazy. Like the whole day I was just like, yeah, I'll be fine. Then last minute as it's approaching, I'm just start feeling the welling up in the chest and the tightness right here.
Yeah. But your lovelies are here. Your lovelies are here. And my community is wonderful, kind as heck. So we're between all of us. You should you'll feel welcome and loved. It's usually like it takes 20 minutes and then you'll get into it and then we'll be talking about robot sex before you know it or something else.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I'm open to all of those topics of conversation.
Excellent. I wasn't going to ask you. You were just going to, no, I'm kidding. Anyway, so we wanted to dive right into it. Super excited to have this conversation, but tell us about yourself. Just like give us an overview about like what you do on Twitch and all that stuff, and then why mental health is important to you.
Oh yeah. What do I do on Twitch? That's a very interesting question. It's changed a lot.
What do any of us do on Twitch? Like, because if you're trying to explain it to, I literally tried to explain my regular 9 to 5 the other day. I was at a bridal shower, and then I ended up being like, you know what? I just work for a medical company. And they're like, oh! And I was like, you still have no idea what I'm saying. Why did you ask me?
Yeah, like I have the exact same problem. I tell people that I'm a presenter who works online, I guess, because, actually, maybe I should explain what I do. Hi, everybody. My name is Mia, otherwise known as Miabyte on both Twitch and across social media. I am a trans woman. I'm an advocate for the LGBTQI plus community. And on Twitch, I play a lot of video games. And sometimes I do like voice acted video games. And other times I'm a co-host on the gaming magazine podcast where we talk about everything LGBTQI plus focused in the world of gaming. That's gaming with a Y. And we have such wonderful guests on. And why is mental health important to me? Because it literally it's what gets me through the day. So I kind of have to be mindful of that all the time, considering I deal with a lot of mental health issues on my end, being a trans woman. If you didn't know that, yeah, I am trans, so there's everything that comes with that too. And I just, mental health, being able to get to grips with that, it's how we survive, essentially. So yeah.
Thank you so much for that, everybody. I am posting links in chat right now. So please be sure to follow Mia on all the things. So you specifically mentioned that, it's a really interesting privilege that I take for granted to not have to be an advocate for my existence. Like, yes, I'm still a woman, but that still comes with a lot of privileges, compared to somebody who is trans. Basically your existence is politicized. It is questioned. It is put down. I mean, yes, women deal with a lot of stuff in general, but being a trans woman, that's an X multiplier that that's not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I mean, it's something that I try and avoid a lot, but it's especially this year, it's pretty much unavoidable at this point. It's everywhere, and we seem to be being dragged into every single conversation, even if it doesn't pertain to us. I mean, the talk about trans athletes has just started up again. Because of the Olympics going on, we have everything that's been going wrong this past year, with just generally laws being passed that reduce trans people's rights. I think there's like so many states in the US now where young trans youth can't get access to HRT at all, or any kind of like medical help whatsoever. In fact, in some states they've made it illegal to do that. So there is like a direct attack on trans people from a lot of different areas at the moment, and it's difficult, and it's difficult to stay positive when you think about that constantly. And there are, as much as I say I'm an advocate, I'm not the kind of boots on the ground person who's out there at protests and stuff, because one, I think I'd go broke, and two, I don't think my mental health could handle that. So but yeah, I do what I can to try and spread awareness and information when I can. And a lot of the focus I put out there is on more, it's changing the gaming industry in itself, the industry like surrounding Twitch and the platforms that we exist on online, and just generally trying to make things easier for trans people, because the only way we make lasting changes is through normalization.
You're doing a lot for that. I mean, like, I learned so much from just reading your tweets. So do not underestimate the power of the fact that like you speak up and bring issues to the forefront that like I might just on my day to day, I might not have a reason to know about them. And then you bring awareness to them, and then I know, and then whatever I can do on my end, I do, whether that's just, you know, creating a safe space like you do, or whatever it might be. But it's
I mean, sometimes all it is like a signal boost from from the allies, basically, for allies to trans people, because like it's all fair and well us communicating within our own circles, but we need those allies to take our stories and the things that we're saying and spread those messages out to everybody around them, because most of the time the platforms are bigger, or at least, or they're connected with other people whose platforms are bigger. Like it's gonna sound stupid, but I'm not Ninja. I don't have Ninja's audience. But like no person who watches Ninja is ever going to come to my stream and learn from me, not directly anyway. So it requires like big streamers like that, big personalities, to actually stand up for not just like trans rights, but like for all social issues, and including like Black Lives Matter, like everything. Yeah, there's a responsibility there, definitely.
There is. Well, that brings a whole separate question, which is how big of a responsibility is it, and how much is saying enough? How much, when you're doing what, like, how do I know that I am doing enough to?
Oh, that is a constant question, isn't it? Like even I'll constantly ask myself, am I doing enough? Because like I see other people doing more, and like I wish I can do more, but there's also the same battle of how much of an impact it has on my personal mental health. And like some days I don't want to open Twitter and look at it and be like, oh, there's, you know,
just hate
tirades against trans people again. Like some days I just want to like forget about it, just to get me through the day, you know. But yeah, so it's not uncommon to question whether or not you're doing enough. Like I think everybody probably questions that, and nobody's perfect in that way. So I think as long as you're doing something is better than nothing. So
that's a good point. But I did want to point out that, first of all, I don't get to decide, because not entirely part of your community. There's a Venn diagram with us, right? But I'm not trans. So how do I put this? That doesn't just like sound stupid.
No, you go ahead and say it, and if it's stupid, I will tell you it's stupid. No, I'm kidding.
I know, that's why I love.
But
no, that's why
this
I love you. You will tell me if it's stupid. No, all I'm trying to, I'm like overcomplicating the like definitions of stuff. The truth is, like, now I've totally forgot my train of thought because I got so flustered.
Oh no!
Anyway, I just love you from the bottom of my heart. And
thank you.
that's it. Like, trans women are women, and I don't want to ever make a differentiation and ever make anybody feel othered. And I feel like the thing that I see the most, like that I see you battling on Twitter the most, is the othering aspect of it. And that, like, that breaks. So what can I do to, like, help with that? Like, again, I had you on a panel. That was very important to me, right? But, like, what else can I do to make sure that, like, you know what? Let's bring it bigger. Let's make it bigger. What can Twitch do? Because there's not, I don't feel like the platform is doing enough, right?
It's most certainly not. I don't think most companies are doing enough.
Yeah.
It is something that I actually wanted to touch on. Okay, so there's Pride Month, right?
Yep.
Even Pride Month, it's all performative actions. It's all stuff to sell product, essentially. It's nice to have that support, and like having support from corporations during Pride Month is great, but you can tell like most of it is performative. The actual actions that they could take to actually help communities is actually highlight the struggles that we're facing, not just say donate to this charity, actually communicate to people, because again, they have those platforms to communicate. And if they're not communicating, like even something as simple as putting out a tweet in solidarity with the trans community, saying like, this year these things have happened that you might not be aware of, we stand in solidarity. That does so much more than just, you know, for 1 month saying, oh, LGBTQIA rights are great, buy our rainbow merch. You know, it's ridiculous sometimes. It would be nice to see more consistent support for the LGBTQIA plus community on Twitch all year round. And that's not just trans people. We're talking like, we get support during Pride Month. Then once Pride Month is over, gone.
Oh yeah.
Gone. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. You know, it's literally like what they did in I can't remember what city this was in. Maybe it was New York. They had like or maybe it was somewhere else, I'm not sure. But the mayor of a city, they had a rainbow crossing on Pride Month, and then literally the night, I believe it was like the night that it crossed over to July 1st, they literally just painted over the road on the surface, just got rid of it instantly. It's
well,
like,
gays don't exist after June 30th. Everybody knows that, Mia.
Yes, exactly.
You just ungay yourself, and then
no,
for the rest
we do.
of the year. Yeah,
we return to our queer dimension where I'm coming to right now. That's why there's no lighting here. This is just what it looks like.
Right. It's just a dark hole of queerness. But it wouldn't be dark because it would be rainbow colored. It should be like
yeah. I've got partial bisexual lighting going on at the moment. So yeah, it's just it's colored all the time. I'm in the pink room. Other people have different colored rooms.
Oh, sure. That's what it is. So that's how it's not a rainbow for everyone. It's you like go to the room of your choice.
There are rainbow rooms, but it's only if you like that. I mean, if you've seen RGB on a PC, that's what it is in some rooms all the time. And like
that's my room.
That could be a bit. Like, it could be a bit much. It could be a bit much. So. Yeah. These colors calm me, so I opted for this. You know. But yeah.
That's how we have green. No, but you're making me think of like, and we had this debate in our community. There was a tweet that Disney posted, we're so proud of our LGBTQ community and we love everybody. And it was like Disney characters marching on a rainbow flag. And then Alex Hirsch, who made the TV show, my God, it's such a good show. Oh no, Gravity Falls, and now is working. It like has helped create Dana Fatfar. Oh, I forget her name, but she does Owl House, which is a super queer friendly show. Yes, have you seen Owl House by the way?
I've seen like the first episode in clips. I definitely want to watch it. Though,
oh God, you got. It's so good. And season 2 started. Okay. Anyway, but yeah, so he is very, very familiar with the fact because he runs these like queer friendly shows about, so he tweeted like Disney behind the scenes. Oh, don't put in that gay scene. It might not work with our Chinese, viewers. And then Disney in front of the scenes, like, look at this rainbow flag, buy our merch. Am I a sucker? I bought the merch.
I just love the response to that. It's like, which one of these characters is gay? because it was just like I think it was
they're
like
all in
Mickey,
heterosexual
Goofy,
relationships. Yeah, Mickey is with
Mickey,
Minnie.
Goofy, Donald, and I don't know who else was on there, but it was like those three and
Yeah,
one other,
yeah.
wasn't it? But it's like, yeah, they're all in heterosexual relationships. It's unless they're all polyamorous and are all just together in a big ball,
That, you know
big
what?
Disney
Maybe that's
ball.
what that's what it. Oh my God,
We should ask Disney.
I bet if you say that, they'll sue the pants off of you.
Hey, allegedly, allegedly, Mickey likes that Goofy D. I'm just saying, allegedly. He's like, ha 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 ha. Hey, Goofy, you wanna hang out? He's like, yeah, yeah, Mickey, go down. No, I can't. I'm not. Gosh, god damn it. Is that what happened to Donald's pants? Fantastic. So glad. So glad.
This is why this show can't be scripted. I'm gonna die.
So yeah, there's a lot of performative action around Pride Month. It's
the argument.
it's
Hold on,
ridiculous.
I was going somewhere. The argument we made in the community was that was still better. That Disney took that and said that because it still pissed off a lot of like anti-trans people. It's still pissed off the right
Exactly.
crowd.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's
I mean,
still
like,
better that they do that than do nothing.
we go back to that same point. Something is better than nothing. A lot more would be great, but something is better than nothing. But you can always do more. And if you're unaware of what to do, you can just ask people. Yeah. Essentially.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So there is the reason I bring up othering is not because like it makes me really, really uncomfortable when I feel any kind of divide. And there's any kind of like distinction, like, oh, that's a trans. No, she's a woman. Like, that's the bottom line. But I feel that on Twitch a lot. And that's why I bring up Twitch and what Twitch can do. And so one of the things that I've made it a point on my show is that I try to have everybody represented in every shape or form that I possibly can. So I don't know why that is not happening on like you look at the front page of Twitch.
Oh, this is definitely something I come back to time and time again.
Because
I'm not sure
you were taken off the front page. I've been kicked off the front page when I was supposed to be on the front page. But you were taken off the front page when you were supposed to be on the front page. And so we shouldn't have this in common.
It's indifference. And that's just basically because Twitch is such a bloated system when it comes to administration and things.
I like that. Yeah.
They can just one person's decisions can supersede and override another person's decisions, even if it's been in the pipeline for a while. Like so I will tell this story very, very, very quickly. I'm from the UK, so on the UK side, we get a different front page. For a very long time, I was trying to get in contact with Twitch any way, shape, or form to apply to be on the front page, on the UK front page, because that's the access that I'm given being a UK partner. Unfortunately, never happened. I applied to be on front page, never heard anything back. I think nothing happened with it. I filled out the form, that time passed, and then I was like, okay, it's been like months and months now, I'd like to apply again. So I contact them. They give me a link to the same Google form that I've done before, which I now can't complete because I've already filled it in the past. And it's like, you've already filled out a response to this. I'm like, oh, great. Okay, so maybe I'll just email them and say, I can't do this. Can I do something here? And they said, yeah, we'll put you in touch with like your partner management in the UK. Great. Got that email, sent out like email upon email upon email, and then never got a response. To the point where it's months later, I'm just like belly aching on Twitter about it, saying I just feel like nobody really cares on this side about the actual about me as a creator. And as a result, I had a lovely member of Twitch staff reach out to me and be like, hey, listen, that's messed up. We'd like to get you sorted out. We can give you like some US front page time. And I was like, oh, that's fantastic. I've got like, there is a game coming out. I won't say the game because it was somewhat Yeah. Anyway, there's a game coming out. It was going to be the release day. So I contacted them being like, yo, I've got a front page spot for this to the developers. And it's like, this is going to be like super cool. I'm planning a whole thing. I did a cosplay for it and stuff. The day comes and it didn't happen. I was supposed to be on the front page and then it just didn't happen and never happened. And then I reached out to them and they're like, oh, they were supposed to put you on front page. They'll put you on now. So I think I was put on the front page for 5 minutes. And then that was my front page spot, 5 minutes. And then I couldn't apply for 6 more months afterwards. They just said, oh yeah, you can't apply for 6 months now. And
at least you're able to apply. Look, I'm not taking away from your experience in any shape or form.
No.
Yeah. They wouldn't even let me apply. I finally did get to it because when I was hosting that multi-creator event. But
it's a very like messed up system. I think the best way of getting on front page if you're not partnered is literally just like doing charity stuff or panels and things like that, things with other creators, and definitely things you can bring with them with like potentially other talent involved too, especially if they're bigger names than yourself. I'm in the same position there. We actually had a Fall Guys charity stream, which was completely made up of trans participants. That was last Friday. It was the most prideful tournament, and there was no way that I would have been able to get it on front page. But the person I was collaborating with is a Twitch ambassador. Yeah, Nicotine, and she's lovely. And so she managed to, through her partner management and stuff, she's able to get that on front page. Like the difference, even though we're both, generally in the same kind of ballpark, we're both trans creators. The difference there is like astounding, obviously, because like Twitch has preferential treatment. And I'm not saying anything against Nicotine. She's lovely and she's one of my best friends.
Yeah.
But in general, Twitch has preferential treatment, and when it comes to things like that, they are so willing to throw things aside because, again, there's these issues where they're being bogged down behind the scenes. It takes forever to get anything done. At least this is what I've heard. This is also why the trans tag thing took a really long time too, because there was so much internal argument over. Well, I'd heard allegedly there's a lot of internal argument over just opinion on that. Some people fighting for it, a lot of people fighting against it, with the idea that identity isn't content as well. So on the Twitch backend, apparently it's all crazy. And, yeah,
it's wild west out there. But here's the thing, and I go back and forth with this. Like, so I fight same way you're fighting for your cause. I fight for my cause of mental health awareness, right? We actually went out and did research recently, and I presented it at PAX, and I messaged staffers at Twitch that I know to be like, we're about to present this research. Please watch it because it's important. And then it's exactly what you're saying. The system's bloated. One person could be rooting for you, but 10 people are not. And then so and so and so and so, and it cascades. So part of me, though, and I don't know if this is the sucker in me, and community, feel free to tell me that, but like part of me is like, I don't blame them because I still feel like they're doing a bit. And this is not me like sucking up to anybody. This is nobody. I don't think anybody important like in there watches this, but I don't blame them because there's like they have to give preferential treatment to somebody, and I genuinely feel like they do a better job than YouTube, than even Instagram, than Facebook. Like I maybe not in every, like it seems like Facebook Live does some things pretty well, but you know what I mean? Like genuinely, they definitely do a better job than YouTube.
Again, I think it's definitely a case of something is better than nothing. Again, we keep coming back to that.
Right.
But like you're saying with the front page, that there's other than those specific months which are earmarked for Black History Month or Pride Month, the lack of diversity all year round is astounding. I can't really speak on the US front page because I don't have access to that unless I have a VPN. But on the UK front page, you go there every day. It's a sea of white cis faces near consistently.
Yeah. Actually, we're going to do a quick test right meow as we're talking.
Let's do a test. Yeah. That's a great idea.
NBC Olympics is on, and we have Big Cheese and Ray Day. Oh, it looks like we have like a good. Okay. So the very front is 2 white dudes and 2 BIPOC. So that's great. That's great. Then who we're looking at? We're looking at Feral Wife, Cooley Smiley. That's at least on my stream, right? It's different for everybody. Then we have Cat Scratch and Julian. And that's channels that like they recommend. Great for recommending me these channels. I do follow them. So thanks for recommending me channels that I follow. Good job, Twitch. Instead of like, here's some people you might like. It's like, here's people we know you like. Twitch Rivals also is different faces. So that's good.
I think I might be seeing the same Twitch Rivals at the moment. Is it Team Fight Tactics?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm seeing that too. Other than that person, there is one other person of color on the front page, and then everybody else on my end is white. It's great. It's terrible.
Yep, actually, that's true. Wait, hold on. Black Stream Live, and these are definitely not black people. Like these are not what Black Stream Live, but it's not exclusive performances from emerging artists live from Philadelphia's iconic. Okay, so it might just be a different band. Okay, so trying to give them a little bit of credit, but yeah. So just as of this conversation, this is what we're, and it looks like you and I are seeing the same thing. So the Olympics is a little bit diverse, and then we're seeing Twitch Rivals is a little diverse, which that actually, those are two representations of Twitch itself. Right? So that is great because it seems like they're putting in effort, at least there. At least what they can control, I want to say. But
I don't believe it's something that's consistently on their mind.
No, I don't.
And I'm not saying like bring in diversity quotas or anything like that, but there's a complete lack of mindfulness when it comes to these things, and I'm pretty sure. Well, I can't be 100% sure because I can never be 100% sure. But if I had to hazard a guess, I don't think that particularly goes into their process, because their process is going to be, what can we do to make the platform look as good as possible while also making as much money as possible?
As much money as possible. And the people who are making, but it's a catch-22 because the people who are making money, right? We look at the like top 20 Twitch creators. The cycle. Yeah, this is the cycle, are mostly white dudes, and so let's promote them because they're making money, so we want them to keep making us money, but nobody else is going to make you money unless you start promoting them actively, and so they're in the cycle. But I mean, I'm during Black History Month, Bliffle Splick is saying in the community, yes, I find people via Twitter or by raid. That's fine. But during Black History Month, I am probably on my own going to put in a better effort to look for a Black creator, right? Because first of all, they're just easier to find during Black History Month. But second of all, like, that's top of the mind. That's what's happening right now. Let me make it an effort. So like, I'm not saying it's not important that Twitch isn't putting in that effort during Black History Month, but it's almost like that's a given. Give me those creators, give me the minority creators, give me trans creators, give me trans women outside of LGBTQ Pride Month, and give me trans women outside of Women's History Month. Like,
well, let's consider that the majority of people who use Twitch, what it was historically, is a gaming platform, and there is a specific community that comes along with that kind of the idea of gamers, which are mostly cis het white dudes who tend to be quite toxic.
You know what we learned last week? So yes,
it's changing. It's changing.
No. Last week we had a doctor. Please, somebody help me. We had an advocate doctor on, and she talked about the fact that actually there are more gamers that are in the minorities are more likely to be gamers than white people. So like,
I've not heard that one. I heard that like at this point, like between the split between men and women in terms of female to male gamers is literally coming up about 50-50.
50-50, but also minorities are more likely to be gamers than white people. But so what we're seeing is shitty representation for what the reality is of who's playing games.
Those that have control of the spaces are those who have historically had the same control of those spaces, which are toxic gamer bros and the subset that comes from that. I mean, if you want to look any further than that, you can just look at the publishers and developers. I'm sure you're more than aware what was going on with Activision.
Blizzard, yeah.
Blizzard and Activision recently. It's the same thing there. You have a specific subset of time where again minorities were ousted from the community so often, and it was seen as a refuge for the geeks and nerds, and created this culture of boredom and toxicity, which is kind of like a little bit hypocritical in itself. I guess maybe the Xbox years kind of brought that broiness in, Xbox Live with the toxicity. But that just persisting at every level of these companies. And I'm assuming that like parts of Twitch, the way that Twitch was founded, it's probably within Twitch too. Yeah. It's more than likely probably within Twitch too. Am I saying it's as bad as Blizzard? Probably not. There's probably things in place to represent that, but it's still like the mantra and the culture behind that and what it started of cannot just suddenly be changed overnight. And again, if you have a majority of probably cishet white dudes in charge, not that I'm saying anything
I want to make that very clear. No, it's not negative. Like nobody's sitting here bashing like if you look this way, like that's we're not going to get anywhere if we're going to say you have to look this way in order to, that's not what we're saying. We're saying we need to create
there is
more
a
equality.
Lack of lived experience, which means that you have the blinders on to the plights of others. Let's say that it's very easy to be ignorant when you have nothing going against you, when you have no barriers in your way, and then it's very easy to assume that everybody else has it the same way, and it's very easy to overlook like you don't see a problem with there being these creators because you just picked a bunch of successful creators that you want to put on front page. Without even thinking about, and again, this could come back to administration, like different people might choose different things from page. I don't know how it works, but again, the fact of the matter is it's like a self-perpetuating thing, and it's incredibly negative for the platform, and nothing changes because it doesn't lead to normalization, which is again the key thing. Like unless you're teaching people and dispelling the ignorance that's there, nothing's gonna happen.
It's a man. You know what? We're just gonna give that a moment to sink in because that it is. I think Zuki makes a really good point. I think we've reached a point where not just not being toxic isn't enough, and that's true. And there's not much to say about that. It's just you cannot look at what's happening at Blizzard and Activision at an entire giant publisher and say that's happening in isolation. That's just that's not possible. That's just not how anything works.
I mean, it is that I think possibly in that scenario, it's just again, it's the culture that came along when they probably founded the company, and a lack of checks and balances, and like. It's so weird, and I don't want to get too off topic because obviously I want to get back to mental health and specifically discussing that.
No, this is all on top. Nothing's off topic. No.
But like specifically with that situation, you have people that are coming out making statements about the company contradicting themselves. I don't want to get this wrong, but there is like some of the heads were coming out and saying that they're apologetic and they wanted to make sure that this was a place for that people could feel safe and they could talk to like managers and things like that. And then you had I think I can't remember what her name is, but it was a representative, and I believe that she worked for like George Bush in politics in the past. But she came out and just said that it was all nonsense. That it was all like misrepresentation from people that used to work at the company.
Yeah.
So even between themselves, there's like no through line there of what their actual statement is. They kind of contradict each other, and it all rings a little bit hollow.
Yeah. In business speak, we call that swirl, when like two people are not when the information is just swirling around, but it's not actually getting into one centralized place.
Like a giant toilet.
It is a giant toilet. That's no, but it is. But okay, so this does relate, and I'm this is not like a forced relate. This genuinely does relate. This affects the crap out of all of our mental health.
Definitely.
You cannot. I opened Twitter, and it happened overnight. The Blizzard Activision news, and It happened overnight, and I woke up in the morning and I was like, cool, this is today. Awesome. I am going to read. And I don't mean this in the way that people should not be sharing the stories. I'm very grateful that people had felt that they could share the stories and that the lawsuit is happening. But it is triggering to know Twitter is going to be full of people talking about their assault and harassment. And there were discussions about one of the employees died by suicide. Like, that was the news cycle that day.
That was incredibly affecting as well, just to think that like some poor human being being like put in a situation where they didn't think that there was any way out.
Yeah.
Like, to that, I mean, that just means that like that situation that they're in was so horrifying, and the things that I heard about that was like deeply affecting.
Yeah.
And think about like the effect that has on other people in the industry, people who, I don't know, for some reason, I left my love for Blizzard a while back, after all the Overwatch League debacle stuff and with Hong Kong and the like. But if somebody was like a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed person who wants to get into the industry and just reads about all this stuff, like a young woman, and then just having those like hopes and dreams crushed, like that could be like extremely affecting for them. And that's just like a drop in the ocean of like the ripples that this has created. Yeah. There's a lot there.
Yeah. So not putting myself in any affected group, there are definitely people more affected than me, but I had applied for a job and was talking to somebody who works for Activision. And so I went downstairs, I put my phone down on my table in front of my partner and was like, "Who's looking like Neo now dodging these bullets?" And he's like, "Oh." I was like, "Yeah. Can you believe that?" So yeah, everybody somehow has like 3 degrees of being affected by it. Yeah.
Obviously, there are going to be people that are directly affected, and that, you know, like my heart goes out to like so many people who probably went through hell at that company, and people that you know, I mean, we've all had stories. I know how it feels. Like I think last year when all the things came out, the Me Too movement like found its way to Twitch, and we all opened up about the stuff that happened over the years. Like with me personally, on my experiences within like Twitch Kittens and the founder of that, and the terrible things that came out about them specifically that I was not directly involved in, but like
affected
also,
you. Yeah.
It definitely like that person's actions definitely affected me. So like there are going to be a lot of people in this situation who are going to be in the same way, and I can't imagine like how much hurt and like frustration it must have come to them to like see certain, because like this is what happened with me whenever I saw that specific group getting adulation from Twitch and getting partnerships and working with people, and like just like biting your tongue, being like, well, I don't want to be cancelled by all the people who are like fans of this monolith essentially. And I can only imagine that like people in the industry who worked for Activision Blizzard probably felt the same, except it wasn't just being cancelled by people on Twitter, it was being potentially blacklisted from the internet. The amount of hurt and frustration that would come from that, and not being able to say anything about it, that can really mess you up.
We were in a similar scenario when information came out about somebody we were friends with, where you're like, this is not my place to speak up. This is not my fight, but I'm hurt.
Yeah, I definitely was. And, you know, like there's still like part of me that's like, I hope they're doing okay.
Yeah.
You know, and that like they probably made some I know that they made some stupid decisions based on their own issues, but it's no excuse to actively try and hurt the progress of other people. Again, this is going to be very cryptic for you, that for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, but yeah, it's that was a lot to deal with too.
So you can't sit in this industry, and again, like my existence is not nearly as politicized as your existence, and you're just being you. I can exist as a white woman with blue eyes. I can skate through pretty okay, you know, and be politicized and sure, like in the LGBTQ community, but I'm straight passing. So, you know, I'm in a relationship with a heterosexual, this white dude, like, so I So I think about how this affects me, and then I think about how there are people it is affecting 10, 20, 30, 100 times more.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
you can't look at the gaming industry and be like everything's okay and this is how it's supposed to be. So
No.
regardless of who you are and what you look like, all I think I know this is a generalization, but I think all that people generally want right now is for people to be allies and to be listening and to get your head out of the sand and
Hmm.
to start doing something.
Yeah, being outspoken is very, very useful. I mean, there is speaking of Twitch messing up, very recently there was an example of them partnering somebody who was restreaming other people's content.
Yes. Yes, and
Yeah.
making fun of people for being
And
for drag queens. Oh my god.
yeah, yeah. I mean, not just drag queens, they were doing it to women as well, but they had stuff outside of Twitch where they had like I don't know, chatterbait or not chatterbait, sorry. One of the Omegle or something like that. I don't know.
Something. Yeah.
Something like that. But conversations where they were going in and like I remember watching this video, they found out that this person they were talking to was trans. They were showing interest in them and they
Yeah.
found out they were trans. And then they asked about the size of their they asked about their private parts
Yeah.
essentially,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it was horrifying for me to watch. And it's just like, wow, this person is putting through other people. Can I swear?
Yeah, I mean it's
Yeah, okay.
PG-13. So, yeah, you're fine.
Okay, the putting people through so much shit, and Twitch decided this is a person that they want to highlight and partner and be a partner on their platform. There is clearly something wrong at some level of Twitch where
There's a
that
disconnect.
culture,
Yeah.
yeah, there's that disconnect, and no doubts there are people working with Twitch that probably don't have the same values as the platform would say it has now. Because how would they get partnered unless they just were only looking at statistics and weren't actually looking at the content? Because surely you should be looking at the people that you're deciding to partner and the content that they're doing. Because what is the point of an application process if they're not going to do that?
If they're not going to look through the actual freaking
Mm-hmm.
application. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But going back to that point, this is why being outspoken matters, because the Twitter community came together, and just literally signal boosted to Twitch that this person was doing these things, and they got their partnership revoked. I think they were banned for about a week, and they got their partnership revoked. I have no idea what they're doing now, but but yeah, at least they got their partnership revoked. I don't know why
Yeah.
they're still on the platform, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's again, is it better than nothing?
It's better than nothing. But again, these are situations where Twitch could say, oh, this is a clear example that we could set here to stop this from happening again. Oh, somebody just followed me. I forgot I had that live. No. I mean, yes, my mood changed and the queer universe changed the lighting to blue to match because I'm so blue when I'm talking about
Harassment.
the
Yeah.
about harassment and the ineffective nature of some of the people who may work at Twitch. Yeah. Again, there's a level of indifference there, but being outspoken helps, and it's the only way that we can change things over time is literally by just saying things when it happens. And again, it's the same in that bro culture as well that would probably likely went on at Activision Blizzard. It's like the men there were probably also scared to speak out and say something against their male counterparts, either through being othered or maybe through them having part of their career aspects taken away too. I can't say because I'm not
Right.
necessarily in I never worked there and I don't know what people were going through. I know obviously what some of the people were going through, not on a one-to-one basis, but from the stories. But again, there has to be change on a both internally for a company and the people who work within it being able to call out the behavior of others. And that's the same pretty much everywhere. Things only change when these things are you put a spotlight on them.
Well,
If
here's
there's
sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just about to use a metaphor. If you're sitting in a room and there is a broken light in one corner and it's constantly dark in that corner, there's no way you're gonna know what's going on in that corner until you shine a light on it.
I like that metaphor. That's great. That's really good. What I was going to say is I think the way we have to think about it is that, and this is, I'm gonna put myself on blast here. It is BIPOC Mental Health Month, and I spent the whole month being like, well, this isn't my place to talk about it, so I'm just gonna be quiet about it and boost somebody else who will talk about it. And I haven't seen anybody talking about it.
Well, this like I didn't even know that it was.
A lot
there
of
was a
people
month
had no
dedicated to that.
idea. Yeah, a lot of people. To be fair, there's a lot of months and they coincide with each other, and it's hard to keep like that is the only like kind of defense that I have. It's still important to track that and be aware of it, but that is one of the things. So the reason I'm putting myself on blast for that is if you are what comes out when something like Blizzard and Activision comes out, and you are one of the dudes who didn't say anything because you were afraid for your career, because you were afraid, it looks so much worse on you that you work for this company at all. It will not matter that you were one of the good people, whoever you are. If you're a woman, man, they who did not speak up, and then this stuff comes out, it reflects poorly on you as much as it reflects poorly on the whole company.
I mean, let's go back to last year with let's go back to last year with again the Me Too movement reaching Twitch. Like, imagine like how many friends probably knew what was going on. Like, I would never want to be involved with any of the people that possibly knew about the situation but did nothing about it. You know?
Yeah.
That's like, I wouldn't trust them at all. Like,
Right.
I wouldn't definitely not want to like forge any business relationships with them whatsoever. You know?
Do I try to get it? Yes, I have a lot of empathy for. I have been in jobs that were toxic, where you're just trying to put your head down and persevere and work through. But what I'm trying, and so like, and work culture is very unique and very. It's tough. You're just trying to make it, and you're just trying to be able to feed your family. Like I get that at some point, but if and maybe that's not the best example to call somebody out on. It's still important, but if you're on Xbox and you hear somebody use the N-word against somebody on your team or something, and you don't say something, the stakes are very low there.
Definitely. Like, yeah, I mean, you might not want to get shit for it or whatever, because obviously they'll probably start aiming the blinders. They start aiming their gun at you instead.
Sure.
But that's next to nothing. I mean, there are a lot of people that just want to avoid confrontation, and like, I'm the kind of person that wants to avoid
I don't love confrontation. I don't love it, but
you still have to call these out these things when you see them, because then otherwise it just again perpetuates the same cycles over and over and over again. Things do get better over time, but change can't happen unless you make change happen. Like, unless you want to be, again, it's like I know this isn't like a real quote, but the definition of insanity, doing the same things over and over and over again. But that's it. I feel like it's quite apt in these situations. It is insane to not do anything and expect there to be change, or a positive change.
I'm going to take the second to call you out. We try not to use the word insane and crazy on this stream.
Apologies. Sorry about that. Yeah.
No, I you know what? No, but I just realized I was being a hypocrite. Oh, no.
Pulling from that specific phrase, the definition of insanity.
No. You're totally fine. You're fine. You're totally fine. I just realized I was being a hypocrite if I didn't say something, because I was just like, the stakes are really low. And I also know
the stakes are low, yeah.
Yeah, I also know you're the kind of person that will correct yourself with grace.
Here's the thing. Yes. Here's the thing. So this is what I like to say. When you're in these situations where you potentially mess something up or get something wrong, like the pronoun situation, for instance, you see what you did, you apologize, and then you move forward. Like, I wasn't aware that that was a thing that in this space, which was potentially negative. I wasn't even aware that the association could be potentially negative. So that might be something that I look into now, and then change my
vocabulary.
I'm searching for. Vocabulary moving forward. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's as easy as that. And there's no malice behind it or anything, but it's as easy as that with, like, again, the trans experience. It's as easy as that with any other kind of experience. We all live and learn. And this is actually something I wanted to touch on as well, because I know we did have certain topics that you presented to me beforehand that we wanted to talk about, but it's also the way we interact with other people and what we do to judge other people. And I feel like this has a massive impact on people's mental health, because I feel like everybody's so scared now, like constantly about
Yeah.
everything,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to like offending other people or getting
Yes.
things wrong, because of this idea of tribalism, and then we stopped
It's
seeing people.
them versus us.
Yeah, yeah, and we stopped seeing others as potentially reasonable people, because the ones who are the most extreme scream the loudest on the social media platforms, which again paints everybody in that way. So for a long time as well, like I was like that too. I'm getting completely off topic here,
It's
by the
not
way,
off topic.
but
Go, 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 go. I love this.
yeah. But what I'm trying to say is, like, I try to be very hyper aware that again there are no bad people and there are no good people.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously there are people that could be clinically insane or psychopaths or murderers, and you would define that as being bad people. And like Hitler was no doubt could be defined as a horrifying bad person. But in generality, there I like to try and see things in shades of gray, in terms of like I can do, and this is again what we're talking about. You can try your best to be good, but nobody's ever truly good. We're all on certain levels. It's built into our DNA that we're there. We're all looking out for number one. We're all selfish, and we can do what we want to try and overcome that. But it's literally like hardwired into us that we care about ours and our own, which again feeds back into the whole tribalism mentality. So I try and keep in mind that, like, again, the people that I interact with online, and again, for the sake of my mental health and the mental health of others, I don't necessarily see in the guise of allies and enemies. That I see it in these are all just people, and people are complex and messed up, and a lot of people are just ignorant. And I feel like the main thing is dispelling that ignorance, which actually leads me on to like one thing that we were going to talk about, which was dealing with trolls and things like that, and how we go about those interactions. But was there anything else that you wanted to jump in on first?
No, this is brilliant. And we have topics of discussion, but the whole point is wherever it goes naturally. I'm never going to force a conversation to go into a direction. So you're totally fine. The only thing, I am conscious of your time because it's late where you are. And so I know you're about to say more, but I would love to give people the opportunity, if that's okay with you, to ask some questions.
Absolutely fine. Yes.
So
I don't want to take up all your show. We touched. I feel like we touched on very little, but yeah, this is a great conversation.
Well,
I'm loving
first
this.
of all, it is. So I need this back. I need you to come back, and we can like keep talking about everything. But the queue is open. So exclamation question will give you instructions on how to ask your question, because there are instructions. So I'm sorry about that, but the bot is a bot and it's very tricky. But yeah, so it's very funny. My moderator just said, how can you take up my show when you're the guest? You know that is your job for an hour at least, to take up my show?
Well, I hope I've been doing it well.
Oh my gosh. It's like, I'm so sorry I've been speaking during my interview. This is the most British thing I've ever heard.
Can't help it, I'm a Brit.
Yeah. The queue is open. So if you have questions, I think it's like exclamation question.
That's something I approve of. That is very British. A queue. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. It is. It's literally called queue. It's called queue open. Yeah. So I'm British and not as nice as them. Okay. Up. You know what? I love you anyway. But yeah. So if you have any questions, now's the time to ask them. But Mia, you were going in a direction of like harassment and trolls and stuff, and then we'll go into questions, and then we will release you so that you can finally go to sleep. But yeah, so harassment and trolls and things.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's terrible for trans people on the platform. Now it's a little bit better. We got the trans tags, so we can actually find each other out and actually form those bonds and communities, and hopefully like look out for each other. But general trolling is bad for minorities, and on Twitch in general and on the internet. God, um, but I'm fortunate that it doesn't happen to me as much anymore because I've built a system that is pretty good for catching a lot of those things.
Same.
My mods are pretty fast when dealing with stuff, so a lot of things like that person got banned. I'm like, I didn't even see that.
What
Okay,
did
cool.
they say? I wanted to play
Yeah,
with them.
like that's the thing. That's the thing. Yeah, like sometimes like I want to click on it and just see what they said. It's like, could I? Sometimes I want to unban, depending. But like because I use it inside OBS, I can't actually click to see what they said, what I got banned for, which I guess is like fortunate on my part because then I don't get, my mental health doesn't get knocked that day because it can have a tremendous amount of effect on one's mental health.
Of course. And it's one of those things where I feel like there are some days that are just better than others, where there are some days where I can read that comment and be like, man, that was so stupid. I feel bad for you. Like you couldn't have come up with anything worse than that. Like you just came in to tell me I have a big note. Like, man, I know that. Like, you don't need to tell me.
If I'm having a bad mental health day though, that can completely change,
Yeah.
So yeah. But it's
Is that a cat?
Yep. Cat has decided now is the time he's gonna play with the loudest toy he's got.
Of course. Of course.
What was I saying? I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, so something I wanted to say something about being bad mental health days making things worse, and then moving on to, again, like you said, playing with your food. If I'm having a good mental health day, some days I do want to play with my food. So in terms of like using these moments as potential teaching moments for other people in chat and say, okay, this is why this is messed up, and I also, again, going back to that whole idea of shades of gray, I need to make the distinction between, is this a troll or is this just someone who's ignorant and doesn't know any better?
Right.
Yeah. And or is this an egg who is unaware and they're just trying to find out information? Because I have been an asshole to people just asking questions sometimes because of the way that they phrased the question.
They phrased it wrong, or they came in really hot and you're already heated from the first thing that they said. And so even if they backtrack and they try to fix it, you're already like, I hate you. Like,
we had a troll raid earlier, and then this person says the thing is like, are you part of that? I'm gonna put you at arm's length until I figured this out, and then sometimes when they turn out to be perfectly innocent, I feel guilty about it.
Of course.
I'm like, you just don't know what the hell you're talking about and you want to find out more. And then I'm genuinely like, okay, I figured you might have been a troll, so I apologize to them. I'm like, if this is the information you want, this is where you can get it. Right. Sometimes I'll literally flat out say, I'm not in the mood to talk about that today, because just existing as a trans person on the internet, it can be very taxing because people automatically think that you're a version of Google. Have you got zoomies?
Aww.
Yeah, he's got zoomies. Yeah.
No, but that is it. I mean, the amount of times I've written like, oh, LGBTQIA2 plus community, and people respond underneath, well, what do the other letters stand for? And I'm like, I used to, and a few times I answered, and then I answered, and then I answered, and then it was like, the same typing you're doing into Twitter, could close Twitter, go into a Google tab and type that same question in and get the answer. Because what I was doing is, because I don't always know the answer or remember it off the top of my head, I would take their question, copy paste it into Google, and then copy paste their response into a tweet response. And I'm like, why am I doing that? So I can only imagine that only gets harder the more layers of, like differences you have from people.
It's also incredibly frustrating IRL as well when you just want to have a normal conversation with somebody and they find out you're trans and they start showing that they're an ally, I guess is the best way of putting it.
Me. I'm a good ally. I'm good. That, you mean that? Yeah.
Those kind of situations where it's like, oh, well, you're trans. I watch RuPaul's Drag Race, so I know all about it, and like I'm totally cool with you and stuff. It's like I don't You don't need to pivot
If
the
you were
topic of
cool,
conversation.
right? Like if you were cool, why do you need to tell? Like if you were cool, then just like talk to me. That's an
Hmm.
option you have, is just to like continue having a conversation with me. Like I understand that this is new information from you, but then other than being like, huh, this is new information, you could just, that's it. Like you
Hmm.
just take the information in and then you just live your life as though you were talking to this person without that information, because
Hmm.
that's all it is.
Yeah. Like they expect you to have certain people that you talk to, that you two expect you to have a stance on everything LGBTQIA plus related, everything trans related as well. Like for instance, if I spoke out on Twitter, there is a trans person. I trans person called, I actually don't know how they identify now, but they're called Jessica Yaniv, and they were essentially a pedophile.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they were a very bad example, and nobody was kind of calling it out for their behavior. So I was like, okay, listen, I want to like make sure that I say that this is messed up. We don't stand by this kind of thing in the community. And the reason that I figured out why people don't do that is because I started getting like, congratulatory tweets from the people that you don't necessarily want to agree with, that wouldn't agree with my living style, in terms of, oh yeah. And then the tweets started coming. It got retweeted by Ricky Gervais, for starters,
Oh,
that particular
I
tweet.
saw. Wait, no, I know now what this is. Yep.
That tweet got retweeted by Ricky Gervais, and then people started questioning me, being like, "Oh, so yeah, you're against that. Well, are you against this list of things too? What do you think about this? What do you think about that?" And it's like, I was just trying to say I don't want pedophiles in my community. I
Right.
don't know about
But
any of
now
this
you're
other
on
stuff.
trial. Yeah.
But
And
now I'm on trial
yeah, yeah,
and being persecuted for literally saying something. So no wonder nobody speaks about this stuff, because it's an invitation for so much like hate and anger.
yeah,
Nobody wants that, you
yeah.
know? And yeah, yeah. I mean, I made some pretty stupid decisions in the past. I was definitely not as progressive as I am now. There is a whole comeback story based on that though. So yeah, yeah. But we can leave that for another time.
I love
I
you so
I
much. This is so good. Go on. Sorry.
mm, mm. I essentially what it was, I fell very early in my transition. I fell down into that hole of YouTube that was like the skeptics community, and like speaking out against progressive stuff, and like anti SJWBS.
Mm-hmm.
And because I had no friends at the time because I just started transition, because I was surrounded by certain people who then I, after a while, disavowed and got away from. um I and was ignorant. Again, I was very ignorant. I didn't think anything of it, essentially, and I had some very ignorant notions, which again, over time, I managed to dispel and come out of that. And it's still a part of my past that I'm like really, really uncomfortable talking about, and uncomfortable even, approaching sometimes, because I felt like such an idiot for such a long time for not seeing it for what it was, and for believing the bullshit, but like just never hearing any other, or just again falling into, this is why I'm so anti-tribalism, because I fell into this tribalistic notion that of the other, they want to take things away from you, everything that you're doing is wrong, the propaganda, until over time the only thing that pulled me out of that was interacting with better people on Twitch and realizing that, oh, maybe this was kind of like, I was ignorant, now I've changed, which thankfully I'm very proud of, like personal growth, my personal
Good.
growth and how I've changed over time. But it's still like a big fear for me as well, that somebody will like, I mean, I never used it against any people. Like I had a friend, right, who was like heavily into that culture, and it was another trans woman who I made friends with very early on in transition. And literally it was the only kind of friend that I had at the time. And part of me was like, well, she's kind of an asshole, but maybe over time I can make her less of an asshole.
Oh, Oh, you found a project for a friend.
I found a project, yeah, and
I've done that so many times where you're like, I can fix this, and it's a whole ass person who has their own thoughts and ideas, and you can't just come in and change them. Yeah.
and unfortunately, they ended up being a conspiracy theory spouting
Ooh.
crazy stalker person who I had to remove from my community, and then sent me email upon email and upon email because I deigned to promote charities which were helping Black Lives Matter. The amazing thing, and this is what I like to, the story I like to tell to just prove how far gone they'd gone. I don't know if you remember the old man who was knocked over by police during the Black Lives Matter protest and then started bleeding from the ear. They sent me a detailed breakdown via email. This is after I'd stopped talking to them by this point because I was very, pro Black Lives Matter. This is what like set them off to go into crazy stalker mode. They sent me a detailed breakdown of something that looked like it was from 4chan of the fact that this person had like a weirdly shaped head. They were saying like, oh, there's clearly like a blood pack on the back of their head. So when they hit the ground, it was like a fake thing and that they were a paid actor. And I was just like, oh my God, I just want you to leave me alone. I just want you to leave me alone. And like, I sent them so many messages. I tried to like salvage a relationship and end it amicably.
Yeah.
And it just spiraled and got more and more out of control until
I've gotten messages like that. There was one in particular that really, that
really hurt.
Yeah.
That really hurt.
Yeah. There was somebody
that felt like a massive failure on my part. Sorry.
No, it's not. No, I'm sorry. I'm interrupting you. It's not a failure on your part, but I could see how you feel responsible.
I care a lot about people, and I care a lot about trying to make things better. And I know I've made mistakes in the past, and I do a lot to try and like make up for that. And just again, my mantra is literally, whenever people come in the stream, is like, my name is Mia, and it is my job to make your day a little bit better. Just like just even if it's a tiny bit, like then my job is done. But sorry, you're saying you had a friend.
Oh no, yeah, I had somebody who was a longtime community member, and then I don't know what inspired this, but one day they sent me an email back, and I still don't know if I did the right thing. They sent me an email. It was out of nowhere. They had never emailed me before, and they sent me an email because I had said something on stream about like, trans lives matter, like trans people are just people. And I don't remember what the conversation, but it was basically like, yeah, I love everybody in the LGBTQ rainbow. And so they sent me this email out of the blue, and it was a long-term community member, and they had moved over with me to Twitch, and they didn't make it back over. Because they said, so they said, I respect that, but I just don't think that being trans is natural. And so I don't believe in it. And so I responded back with, you don't have to believe in it. It's still true. So, and not natural. I was like, what the hell does that even mean? Not natural.
I didn't realize that I was a
cyborg
of somebody's. Yeah, I'm a cyborg. I don't actually exist.
Yeah.
Again, no. I'm back in the queer dimension. So
yeah,
technically,
that's what it is. You got sent back to the queer. But I want to know, why didn't I get sent back to? Is it because I'm hetero-presenting? Is that why I didn't get sent back to the queer dimension? I want to be in the queer dimension. I want to hang out there. It looks like a great place. It looks fantastic. I love your cat. It looks great. I'm coming to the queer dimension. You can't stop me. But yeah,
you were saying about
no, that was the whole story. And I responded back, and I was like, what do you mean not natural? What part of anything that we do is and what is not natural? What is not natural about realizing that you were born in the wrong body? What is natural about that?
I'm tired of having to apologize that my brain has in my entire life told me a certain thing which doesn't necessarily align with a biological reality. Right. I wish that wasn't the case. Obviously, I don't wish that I was just a guy, because again, that goes against everything that that whole thing is. But I don't want to cause anybody any suffering or pain, or but at the same time, like, my existence
shouldn't be up for debate.
Shouldn't be. Yeah, it shouldn't be up for debate. But I don't think it does cause anybody any pain or
No,
hardships. Not as
no,
much as anybody else's would.
no,
So
no.
it's weird having to like again
Explain that.
explain the fact that you even exist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not. I don't know if this is the right thing to say, but it's not fair. I know a lot of life is not fair, but like that's one of those things that's not fair. You shouldn't have to explain yourself.
I mean, it's a
people.
very truly obviously like the rest of the LGBT community dealt with this more so than one time than another, and like it's not something that's mutual. That's basically I'm saying it's not something that's exclusive to trans people, because the same was said about like gay people,
Right. Just a few years ago. Yeah.
But it's literally people need a new target, I guess. And especially when it's become so politicized, like people are brainwashed. And I don't want to go into tribalism, but there are literally like sects of certain political parties which are like, okay, what points can we score now? This didn't work. What points can we score now in order to undermine people's rights and remove people from society that we don't like? Literally, again, it's the same. A lot of people who are critical of trans people, when you actually talk to them, they just want to make it impossible for trans people to exist in public at all, to exist at all, to be able to live a normal life at all. They say they put it in the guise of, again, gender critical people put it in the guise of protecting
that term
others.
Gender critical is
it's TERFs.
Yeah, I know it's TERFs, but gender critical is such a nice way to put it that it doesn't deserve to be put so nicely.
No, and it's weird because they decided that their name was TERFs in the first place, and then as soon as we started calling them that, now it's a slur apparently. But that's the power that certain people have in order to like shape things in their communities. And unfortunately, I'm stuck on TERF Island, which is Britain. They have a lot of sway here for some reason. I mean, J.K. Rowling's from here.
It's because of her.
It's I mean, a lot.
Thing. I had my father-in-law message me the other day and was like, why do you think people don't believe in masks in the US? I was like, I don't know, maybe because a big orange Cheeto came out who has a giant platform and told people that they're useless. That affects how people politicized it. That affects how people think. You have these big ass platforms. This goes all the way back to the beginning. So it's a perfect segue to our questions. This goes all the way back to the beginning. You have a big ass platform. You better be using it for good things.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Did we have any questions?
Yeah, we do. We have 4 questions. I'm so sorry. Is it okay that we keep you so you can answer these and then we'll let you go?
I'm happy to. Happy to.
All right. I'm sorry. I know it's late, but this is just so good. Okay. Nathaniel asks, how can people be better advocates for social issues like trans issues and mental health?
Oh Lord, how can people be better advocates? Again, I feel like we touched on this earlier, but it's literally just signal boosting the voices of those minorities. It's literally using the platforms that you have in order to spread those messages. Because the things that I say aren't, and I'll say this again, the things that I say aren't gonna reach like the average viewer of, say, Ninja or XQC or anything like that.
And that's who it should be reaching. That's who it needs to reach.
Yeah. And if you want to dispel ignorance, you just have to signal boost, literally just signal boost, and try and help with normalization. And literally like speak about things openly and combat bullshit when you see it. Essentially, anything that leads to more normalization is good, because that is like, it shouldn't be that it's trying to avoid the other, essentially. Anything that you can do to try and avoid the other is great, but that's also difficult because at the same time trans people have certain needs that need to be met as well as other minorities. So but that's the same as anyone. Like something that we went back to just before is like, it's fine to say a trans person is a trans person, like a trans woman is a woman, but it's still a trans woman. That's not to say that they're not a woman. That's just like saying a disabled woman
Mm-hmm.
is still a woman, but they're disabled, and it means that they have certain needs
Mm-hmm.
that have to be met and
Mm-hmm.
addressed, and things that they, you know, things that they need to, I wouldn't say overcome, but things that they
They're
have
just different.
special. Yeah, yeah. They
A
yeah. So
difference, a little difference. Yeah.
But again, it's removing the idea of othering. And I know that's a massive thing to try and get your head around, is like, how do you do that? It's literally trying your best to normalize these interactions and these people and saying, okay, dispelling that ignorance that's already there. But we can't do that alone. Like, we can't dispel ignorance alone. We need you to help in terms of spreading that information
The
and
more you
making it so
can,
it's
oh, I'm
accessible.
so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Sorry, no, go ahead.
The more you can do to make the conversation just part of regular like if you treat, okay, so here's how I think about it. You know, when a baby falls, they say you're supposed to not be like, oh, like you're supposed to be like, oh, you fell, and you just help them get up and like get on with their day, right? So I feel like that is just the way that we normalize things socially. If you say like, oh my God, you're trans and so trans and and then that creates that like normalization, but also it's still it's othering. It's but you're this, but that's different, but you're this. But if you have conversations about it that are very just part of the conversation, like, yeah, and as a trans woman, how does that affect you? That is very different than being like, oh, trans, huh? That's different. It's all like, are you going to make a huge deal about it? Or are you going to talk about it normally because it's a normal thing? You normalize something by talking about it in a normal way.
You know what? As an ally, make a trans friend. That's what I'd say. Make a friend who's trans.
Yeah.
Go out and find somebody and just talk to them about their experiences. Like, again, there's no way that you can dispel other people's ignorance unless you dispel your own.
There you go. Next question. Dark Acid said, how should one respond if I'm attacked for an honest, information-seeking mistake that has been apologized for? I'm taking friend applications, said Weird Majors, who's transitioning. I love you, Majors. Sorry. Okay, question. Yeah. Did you hear how to respond if I'm attacked for an honest, information-seeking mistake?
Okay. Be aware, again, this is something we touched on earlier, that they might just be having a bad day and they might be fed up with having to be the person that is gone to for information. It really depends on the without actually seeing that interaction, it's really hard for me to say exactly what happened and if you did something wrong or use language that was incorrect. Again, some people, you're gonna have to treat people as individuals. It's not, trans people are not a monolith. And
Yes.
This is also something I want to get rid of as well, the old whole idea of no two people are like, no two trans people are gonna be alike. Some people, and again, this is like a let you in on a little information, trans people at the very start of their transition tend to be quite aggressive. That's a little bit of a stereotype.
Aww.
I definitely was.
Yeah.
But when it comes to you're newly out, you're trans, and you want to change everything, and you can get quite aggressive and fighty, and like, I was kind of shitty to my family about certain things that I could have been a little bit more understanding about. And so in these situations, the onus is not only on you, but also the trans person. But you don't have control over that. You have control over yourself. So if somebody, for lack of a better word, shits on you for asking a question, depending on how they come back, it's like, you can either apologize saying, oh,
what? No! My internet is fine! I'm gonna scream. It says my internet is fine. Mia, come back! Mia, come back! No, Mia, come back! Can you all still see me? British internet. I am screaming! The Matrix is broken! Data lag, I see you. Oh no! Oh. Okay. Dragon Bard, it's she. Ah! She's gone! She's gone! Ah! Dragon Bard, you best not be messing, because I will ban the crap out of you. Give a sec. British internet usually is faster than US, but very dodgy weather. She may reconnect. All right. Fingers crossed. Amy, that's it. Miabyte is now 8 smaller Miabits. Oh, no. Attack of the Stream Lab. I'll be your Mia. Oh, I'm quite British and nice. Please don't tell her I did that. Please don't tell her I did that. You misgendered somebody, Dragon Bard. Mia is she. Yes, thank you, Bliffle. My God, never do that accent again. What? What? Tea and crumpets? I'm sorry, don't throw tomatoes at your screen. Oh! Let me see if, oh no. It's okay, I already held her over time. What's all this then? Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Oh no, hold on. Can you imagine if I just start talking like that? What's all this then? Please don't throw tomatoes at the screen. Mxiety, why? Your tea will be microwaved from now. Bliffle, no! That's terrible. Don't put me through that fate. That's okay. That's okay, Dragon Bard. I thought you were being trolly. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're totally fine. You're totally fine. Most Americans just about... Oh, no. I'm so sorry. Jesus, you think I sound like that? Oh, no, no, no. My gosh. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. I like the Newcastle... What the hell is a Newcastle accent? Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Just means we need Mia back ASAP. I know. So she just said my internet died 2 secs. Yeah. Just need 2 secs. There's a new accent every 10 miles in UK. Problem is I do sound a little like an American assumption, damn it. Mia's back! 9 months! We have a baby! What are you naming our baby, Majors? And what color balloon are you getting? Hold on. All right, Mia might be coming back. Maybe? We anxiety, so baby! There you go, Mangers. Thank you so much for the subby sub. Thank you so much for all the biddies, by the way, and the support while we've been doing the stream. It's the ship y'all wanted. Mia's still connecting, lovelies.
Hi.
There you are.
Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I cannot see you.
Okay, so my internet, I think, is toast.
That's fine. We had a great night. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think it's because essentially, like, it's so early in the morning that they do tests on the ISP. The ISP just runs tests at this time sometimes. So it just
got you. I'm so
which
sorry
is really
to
annoying.
keep you up so late.
Okay, hold on. How does this look? Is this really bad?
Better than that. No, it's good. But we just need to say goodbye. We just need to say goodbye. We've held you for so long. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay.
I love you. Please talk to me a lot. Like, don't. Ah!
It's all right. I'll hold it. You get a first person. Well, not first person. You get a more of a handheld view now.
Look how cute you are. Okay, all right. We'll leave you to it. Thank you so much for being here, and we will talk soon, okay?
Yes, so this was
promote
fantastic.
Your stuff. Wait, promote your stuff before you hop off.
Okay, hi. Apologies for the internet going down. My name is Mia, otherwise known as Miabyte, across social media. I can be found at twitch.tv/Miabyte. You can find me on Twitter at @TheMiabyte. And I'm also the co-host over at Gaming Magazine, which is twitch.tv/gaming mag. That's with a Y instead of no Y. Yeah, there's an extra Y in the gaming. But yeah, that's where you can find me. I'm probably going to be streaming tomorrow and then again on Friday. So yeah.
Please, 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 everybody give me a follow. I love you all so, so much. I will be right back. Mia, stick around just for a second. Wave everybody goodbye.
Okay. Bye.